Hello there everybody and welcome back to Sunshine Islands, and I also want to welcome everybody to the 50th video. I didn't realize we were so far along until I actually looked at the numbering before starting this. I cannot believe we are 50 videos in and we are not even at the end of the first year. I think that really showcases how much volume there is to this game and just how much content there is to cover. So I hope you guys have been enjoying it so far, and hopefully we have 50 more probably by the time that this is all over and done with. It is the 13th day of winter, so I am returning after yesterday's video because Gannon will have built our barn, so we need to go over some animal related stuff now that we have the ability to have some barn animals. I have also taken both yellow wonderfuls from my cabinet and we are going to find a use for these today. I'm going to go over a couple of different really good uses that these have. And then we'll go from there and see what else we want to do. It's a sunny day today. It might also be worth trying to trigger one of our heart events with a couple of the girls that have a yellow heart, because we haven't done that yet. So as soon as Gannon tells us that his work is complete, we should be getting a visit from Mirabelle here. And she will, of course, come bearing her usual very generous gift for us to get things started. And then she'll go over the tutorial with us. So she is nice enough to give us a calf, which is very, very nice. Saves us a little bit of cash. And I think that this cow just kind of looks like a VV. We're gonna go with that for our first cow on the farm. Keeping up with our Final Fantasy theme. I will let Mirabelle go over this tutorial. A lot of it is very similar to looking after the other animals, but she always explains things better than I could. So it's the same story here. They all have their own individual food dispenser, and this barn will dispense fodder. So for the pets we have pet food, for the chickens we have chicken feed, and for our barn animals we have fodder. So we now have 3 different types of food that we need to keep track of. And just like any other animal, they eat 1 piece of food per day. And then of course they have the ability to get sick and die, unlike our pets, so we need to make sure that we feed them and we keep an eye on their stress levels to make sure that they don't get sick. Talk to your animals and brush them every day to build your friendship with them. They are some of the eligible animals that can be brushed, so sheep, your cows, and your horse can all be brushed. And we will also have the ability to play the petting minigame with all of our barn animals when we see that hand icon above their head. When cows grow up, you can milk them with a milker. Sometimes a milking icon will appear over a cow. That means you can get especially high quality milk from it that day. So there is a milking minigame with your cows, and the same goes for the sheep. We use clippers to get their wool from them, and we may also get the opportunity to play a clipping minigame. You can use miracle potions on adult animals to make them pregnant. If you have grass on your field, you can put your animals out to graze. We don't have any grass, but we can very easily grow some. When they're outside, the animals will graze on any mature grass that you've grown. Animals love to graze on fair and sunny days. And then of course we want to make sure to avoid leaving them out in bad weather, blizzards, storms, rain, snow, all of that type of stuff. We want to make sure that they have a little fence around them so that they can be protected from wild dog attacks as well. So all pretty much the same rules as taking care of chickens and your pets, with a few exceptions. When we walk inside, you can see that this is our basic barn. pretty small to start out with. And this calf is going to take about half a season to grow up. I think it's about 15 or 16 days, so unfortunately we are not actually going to be able to get any sort of profit from our cow until they are an adult. That also means that we cannot let them outside, so we are going to be forced to just feed them with fodder for the time being, of which I have none. I have to go buy some from Mirabelle. And we need to go to Mirabelle's anyways, because we're also going to buy a second animal to fill that barn up for now. It's also probably worth going to Gannon's and having a look to see what putting in some more feed trays would cost. I do believe in the basic barn we can hold about 4 animals, so I think we have room for 2 more feeders. And I think we could also have room for 1 more chicken in here before we have to upgrade. I'm gonna go check what the weather is like with Taro before I drag all my animals outside, because it seems to be that I'll get one beautiful day of sunshine and then it just rains on me again, or snows. And unlike the chickens, I should mention this too, Mirabelle did say that they will munch on grass when it's grown. Chickens seem to kind of just feed themselves. Like, they seem to, I guess the logic is that they peck bugs or worms out of the earth. You don't need to grow anything for you to have the chickens eat when they're outside, but barn animals you do. You have to be able to grow grass. Otherwise, putting them outside to eat doesn't really work. So it's a little more complicated to put the barn animals outside than it is to put chickens outside. And I'm extremely lazy when it comes to the barn animals. I very rarely put them outside because it's so much work to push them outside, push them inside, grow grass, and they're a lot heavier and a lot more work to move to and from in and outdoors, but I will make an effort. I will make a little area for them, a little pen with a fence like I have for my chickens. So in Chen's seed section, he has always had grass seeds for sale. This has been here since the start of the game, but basically at any time you can buy grass seeds. They will grow in every single season except for winter. And this is what your animals will eat. So if you leave the fully grown grass outside when your animals are there, they will eat it. Or when it's fully grown, if your animals are inside, you can cut it and it will make fodder. Grass seeds are fully replenishable, which means that once you have planted them, they're there forever, unless you get rid of them somehow. And it also lies dormant in the wintertime, so wherever you've planted this stuff, it will come back in the springtime, and it never really dies. I think you can overwater it and kill it, but in my experience, for the most part, once you put grass wherever you want it, it's kind of just there to stay, which is really nice, because it also prevents you from having to buy fodder. Now that I'm here at Charlie's, I also wanted to go over a couple of good uses for our yellow wonderfuls. So I have purchased an axe with 2 slots, and my hammer also has 2 slots. So because we have so many stumps and we have so many boulders on our farm now, we're going to want to clear those out, and the yellow wonderfuls are going to help us do that. So if I take my hammer and we put 1 yellow wonderful into it, you can see that we will now be able to move the next step up from the basic small rock to the kind of medium-sized boulder. We can now go and not chop, but we can go and break those down, basically. It's going to still take us a little bit of time, it's going to take us some stamina, but we will be able to get rid of those. And if we have the really, really stubborn, big, dense-looking rock, we can put 2 yellow wonderfuls in it, and you can now see that we now have the ability to get rid of all of the boulders that we may come across on our land. So I haven't really put the Wonderfuls in until now because the boulders haven't really been in my way, and I have to kind of pick and choose what I'm going to use my stamina for, so I haven't been too concerned with clearing out those boulders. But clearing out boulders now in the winter season is probably something I should make a priority. Get the farm cleaned up a little bit, and it's just a good idea to do it, to keep things clean, and that will allow me to better plan out where I'm going to be able to plant stuff next year and stuff like that. So I don't need both of these Wonderfuls in my hammer. I'm going to remove one. We should be able to just sort of take care of the larger boulders for now. I don't think I have too many of those really dark color boulders on my farm for the time being. I am, however, going to put the other yellow Wonderful into my axe, because the axe, if we put the yellow Wonderful into it, will allow us to clear out any stumps, and there are quite a few stumps to be had. There's stumps everywhere. They're not only on our farm, but they're also in the village and the other surrounding islands. The good thing about cutting stumps and breaking down the larger boulders is you will also get more material stone or more lumber out of it by doing that. And remember, of course, that you can swap these Wonderfuls out at any time for free. Charlie does not charge you for this. And there is one more tool that I would like to have a yellow Wonderful for, but I only have 2 Wonderfuls at the current time. So I'm going to just keep things like this as they are now. And hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate that. So on to Mirabelle's now. We can talk to her and see what she has available. If we go to the items menu, you can see now that she has fodder available, so we will need this to feed our cow. It's a little more expensive than the other feed, and I think the reasoning for that is because the game probably wants you to grow your own grass. Because our cow cannot get out of the barn, it's still a baby, we're gonna let's buy a whole month worth of food and then some, because I do plan on getting another animal. So let's buy 50 pieces for now. We'll spend $1,000. 50 pieces should be good. We now have miracle potions available as well for when our animals are adults, if we want to make them pregnant rather than buy the animals on our own. And we also now have the milker and the clippers available, remembering of course that just like Gannon's shop, Mirabelle's tools will change every day in terms of how many slots that they have for Wonderfuls. I'm going to hold off on the milker and the clippers because both of these animals, the cow and the sheep, are going to be babies for at least half a month. So I have time to decide when I want to buy these. I would like to buy a brush, and I would like to put a yellow Wonderful into the brush as well, but I think I'll wait and get a brush that has maybe 2 slots. And I would like the brush because obviously it's going to help me gain affection with my animals faster. And we can also use it on our horse. Our horse's affection is going pretty well right now, but the brush would help us just a little bit more with that. So I'm going to keep my eye out for a better brush with a couple more wonderful slots. I have some food, and we're going to buy another animal from Mirabelle. So she has sheep available as well. So if you buy another cow, it's going to be a baby. We can only buy the baby version of these animals until they grow up, and then she'll have the adult versions available at her shop. So we're going to go ahead and buy a sheep. And I know that we have already picked a name from Final Fantasy VII, but come on. Cloud is just a perfect name for a sheep because it's got that beautiful, fluffy, warm coat. So we're gonna go with Cloud for our very first sheep. and we're gonna stick it in the barn. All right, so we now have $18,000, and what we can do is we have two choices. I am very, very, very close to being able to either pay for the bridges in full price. I can do that right now for $15,000, no problem. But I am also really, really close to the point of having enough lumber to just be able to take advantage of the Sprites discount right now and pay the 90 lumber and the 10,000 to get a bridge built. So if I throw my current lumber in, you can see that we are 2 pieces short of 90. So at this point, because we are so dangerously close, I think it's worth it just to chop down a few branches. I'll show off what it looks like to chop down a stump. And then we should go over to Gannon's and just get one of our bridges built right away before the Sprites want to take a break and we need to wait a little while to get their help. So remember that when you are trying to chop down stumps or chop down anything else, you want to break down boulders, you do need to charge the tool or else it doesn't work. The Wonderfuls will only work if you've charged the tool. So we need to give this a couple of wallops for it to break. You can see there, it does take quite a bit of energy to be able to do that, but it does work. So you just want to plan your stamina usage out accordingly. And it's the same with the hammer. You just make sure to charge it or else it's not going to work. And the boulder actually went down pretty easy. It was only like 3 swings there, which wasn't too bad. Alright, so let's put these 12 pieces of lumber into the shed, bump that total up past 90. Let's go and visit Gannon. We can get a bridge built today at a little bit of a discount to us, save ourselves a little bit of money, and we can also look at some of our barn upgrades that we can sort of think about getting in the future. Oh, and look at that, Sabrina's Green Heart event, even better. Oh, Nick, good day, you came at the right time. Please take a look out at the sea. There's an island floating above it. This is the first time I've seen it, but I believe it is called a mirage. It's a sort of illusion. Light is bent, so we see an island that isn't there. Oh, that's cool. It's actually quite rare. This will be a wonderful day. I'm so glad I saw it with Nick. Talking to herself. She's so cute. She's so shy. And I can't believe that that is the second heart event that I have just accidentally walked into because we just did the same thing with Lana a couple of days ago. I didn't even mean to walk into the event and I just kind of happened to walk into it, so. That's really cool though, actually, because that kind of catches us up on heart events. We need to see Lana, Natalie's, and Julia's yellow events. I haven't triggered any of those, but it sort of means that we're caught up other than that. And I did say we might see an event today, but we're already almost 20 minutes in. After all of my explaining and all the tutorials and purchasing and such. And we still have to visit Gannon, so let's have a quick look at his wares here. So let's go to the build menu. If we go to upgrade barn, if we want to upgrade it to a larger size, we are looking at a whopping 450 pieces of lumber at a $7,000 cost, or we can pay big time an additional $30,000 to have him build the entire thing for us. So this is an example of an upgrade where giving him the lumber is probably worth it, assuming that you have all of that lumber to give him, because the amount of money that he's going to charge you is outrageous compared to what he would charge you if you had the lumber. If we want to add a feeder in, it's not very expensive. It's 90 pieces of lumber and $500. 90 pieces of lumber at this point isn't too difficult if we start breaking down stumps and we continue to chop things down in the wintertime. So we might actually be able to add another animal in. We also have birthing pens that we can add in, which you will need if you want to make your animals pregnant using the miracle potions. We can add a little friendship display when we walk into the barn to check on our animals. This is an upgrade I've never really found a use for because I can look at all my animals' friendship on the assets menu. And then finally, if you want to, you can also put up an additional shipping bin inside the barn, so you don't have to rely on the other two that we have, the one on our farm and then the one that is just outside Taro's house. So I think we've gone over the upgrades for the chicken coop before. Obviously the chicken coop upgrades are a little bit cheaper. You're looking at less lumber and less of a cost if you want to upgrade the coop before the barn. The feeder is the exact same amount. We can also add an incubator in if we want to as well. And then we also have the friendship display and the shipping bin at the exact same costs for both buildings. I will buy the bridge upgrade. I might as well do that. That was the whole purpose of coming here, because the sprites here are still working, so we will get a little bit of a discount. So let's give them their gift before I forget. And I think I'm gonna get Gannon to build me the bridge to Rice Island. We got Rice Island quite a while ago, so we might as well do that first. I still think it's very feasible for us to be able to also build the Fruit Island bridge, so I'm not worried about it. Let's just go ahead and use our own lumber, save a little bit of cash, and have Gannon build that for us. So now at this point I'm really broke. In the course of the last couple of days we've spent lots of money. I had over $40,000 previously, but now I have just under 10. We are almost halfway through winter already, so time has passed by incredibly quickly. If I play my cards right, I think I'll still be able to get that bridge built and be set up and be in a really nice place for spring. We now have some animals on our farm to think about as well. We do have to kind of be patient with the barn animals because the sheep is also gonna take about half a season to grow up. So this first half season that we're gonna have these animals is just going to be brushing them, petting them, feeding them, making sure they're healthy, and hopefully they'll have a couple of hearts with us before they're adults, which will mean that we'll be getting better materials from them. We'll get higher quality milk, we'll get better wool, and I'm not really gonna have much of an update for my next recording because tomorrow is the Winter Harmony Day festival. So tomorrow we will be getting chocolates from the girls of the village, which is exciting. I'm very excited for that. That'll be a lot of fun. I've kind of been waiting all year for this festival because it was a very long time since we had to give the girls chocolates in the springtime, and so now it's kind of coming around that it's their turn to show us their appreciation. So we will be doing that tomorrow. Hope you guys have enjoyed this long video. There was a lot to cover, I know. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit more laid back and we'll have a lot of fun. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.